Welcome to the motherland of myths. Yo, 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 what's up, Mythbusters? Trevor Noah here, ready to take you on a wild safari through the African savanna of storytelling. Forget your boring bedtime stories about princesses and dragons. We're talking about the real OG myths passed down through generations around crackling fires under the vast African sky. Africa, my friends, is the cradle of civilization. And with great civilization comes great, well, you know the rest. But trust me, these ain't your average fairy tales. We're talking shape-shifting creatures, wisecracking animals, and gods who love a good party, sometimes at our expense. So buckle up, Buttercup, as we dive into the wacky, wonderful, and sometimes downright unbelievable world of African myths and traditions. Get ready to laugh, learn, and maybe even question everything you thought you knew about storytelling, because in Africa, the line between reality and fantasy is about as clear as a hippopotamus in a bubble bath. Let's go! Anansi the Spider, the original trickster. First up, let's talk about Anansi, the spider from West African folklore. This dude is the OG trickster, always spinning webs of deception and outsmarting everyone from grumpy leopards to even the mighty sky god, Nyame. Anansi is like the African Loki, but with 8 legs and a knack for weaving tales as tangled as his webs. He's greedy, he's cunning, and he's always got a plan, even if it backfires spectacularly, which it often does. One story tells of how Anansi tricked all the wisdom in the world into a gourd, hoping to hoard it for himself. But like any good comedian, he tripped, dropped the gourd, and scattered wisdom across the earth. That's why, as the elders say, a little bit of wisdom is found everywhere. Thanks, Anansi, we guess. The Tortoise and the Hare, a classic rematch. You think you know the story of the tortoise and the hare? Think again, my friend. In the African version, things get a little more interesting. This time, the hare is even more arrogant, the tortoise even more determined, and the trash talk is off the charts. Imagine a rap battle between a slow and steady rapper and a fast-talking hype man. You get the picture. The moral of the story? Same as the one your grandma told you, but with a spicy African twist. Slow and steady wins the race, especially when you've got the home court advantage and a whole village cheering you on. Plus, the African version throws in some epic side plots involving talking drums, magical gourds, and maybe even a mischievous monkey or two. Just another day at the races in the motherland. The day the sun got married. Ever wonder why the sun is so darn hot? Well, in Zulu mythology, it's because the sun is a fiery lady who got hitched. That's right, the sun got married and the whole world was invited to the wedding. But there was just one tiny problem. The sun's bridesmaids, the stars, were a bit too radiant. I mean, they were stealing the show. So, what's a jealous bride to do? The sun decided to dim the star's light just a tad, so she could have her moment in the spotlight. And that, my friends, is why the stars twinkle at night. They're still a little shy from that whole wedding fiasco. It's like the ultimate cosmic drama, complete with jealous brides, celestial fashion shows, and enough heat to power 1,000 suns. Literally. The mystery of the Bow Bab Tree. Now let's talk about trees. Not just any trees, mind you, but the Bow Bab Tree, the tree of life that looks like it was planted upside down. Seriously, Google it, it's weirder than a giraffe in a tutu. According to legend, the baobab used to be a vain show-off, boasting about its beauty and towering over other plants. The gods, being the ultimate pranksters, decided to teach the baobab a lesson in humility. So they flipped the tree upside down, burying its head in the ground and leaving its roots to bask in the sun. That's why, to this day, the baobab looks like it's reaching for the heavens in a perpetual state of, oops, my bad. It's a story about pride, punishment, and the importance of staying grounded, literally. Plus, it gives a whole new meaning to the phrase rooted in reality. Why the hyena laughs? It's not what you think. You know that creepy cackling laugh of the hyena? Yeah, that's the sound of pure mischief, according to many African cultures. But the story behind that laugh is actually kind of sad and hilarious in a darkly comedic way. Legend has it that the hyena used to be a wise and respected creature, entrusted with the secrets of life and death. But then, the hyena got a little too big for its britches, let the power go to its head, and started playing fast and loose with the circle of life. As punishment, the gods cursed the hyena with a laugh that echoes its betrayal. So, the next time you hear a hyena cackling in the night, remember, it's not laughing with you, it's laughing at the cosmic joke that is its own existence. Talk about your tragicomic figures. Shakespeare could never. When Animals Talked, the Origins of Language. In the beginning, so the stories go, animals could talk. Like actually talk. They had full-blown conversations, gossiped about the neighbors, mostly giraffes making fun of short-necked gazelles, and even had their own political systems. But then, something happened. Maybe it was a miscommunication, a bad case of, he said, she said, or just the gods getting bored with their animal soap opera. Whatever the reason, the ability to speak was taken away from the animals. Some say that's why animals have unique calls and sounds today. They're the remnants of a forgotten language. So the next time your dog barks or your cat meows, just remember, they might be trying to tell you the secrets of the universe, or they could just be hungry. It's a toss-up, really. The magic of music and dance. In Africa, music and dance aren't just forms of entertainment, they're woven into the very fabric of life. They're the heartbeat of celebrations, the rhythm of rituals, and the soundtrack to everyday existence. From the hypnotic drumming of West Africa to the intricate footwork of Zulu dancers, each region has its own unique style and stories to tell. There are dances to appease the ancestors, dances to bring rain, and dances to, well, just let loose and celebrate being alive. And the best part? You don't need fancy shoes or a degree in choreography to join the party. Just feel the beat, let the rhythm move you, and get ready to shake what your mama gave you. Celebrating life from birth to ancestors. Life, my friends, is a journey. And in many African cultures, that journey is celebrated with a whole lot of singing, dancing, and storytelling. From birth to death and everything in between, there are rituals and traditions designed to honor the circle of life and connect us to our ancestors. Take naming ceremonies, for example. Forget your boring hospital bracelets. In some cultures, babies are presented to the community with a name that reflects their personality, their destiny, or maybe just the first thing their parents saw after a particularly long labor. And then there are the coming-of-age ceremonies where young people prove their strength, courage, and knowledge through trials and tribulations that would make even Bear Grylls sweat. We're talking facing your fears, conquering your doubts, and emerging as a fully fledged member of the community. It's like a spiritual boot camp, but with better music and way more dancing. Myths, legends, and the modern world. Now you might be thinking, Trevor, these stories are all fun and games, but what do they have to do with the 21st century? Well, my friend, let me tell you, these myths and legends are more relevant than ever. They teach us about the human condition, about the consequences of our actions, and about the importance of laughter, even in the face of adversity. They remind us that we're all connected, that we all have stories to tell, and that sometimes the best way to deal with life's challenges is to find the humor in them. These stories are our inheritance, passed down through generations like a well-worn but beloved book of wisdom. Warning, may contain traces of trickery, wisdom, and the occasional talking animal. So the next time you hear an African myth or legend, don't just brush it aside as a quaint tale. Listen closely. You might just learn something about yourself, about the world, or about the enduring power of a good story. The enduring power of laughter and lore. As we reach the end of our whirlwind tour through the African savanna of storytelling, I hope you've learned a thing or two. Maybe you've discovered that spiders can be surprisingly cunning, that tortoises have hidden talents, or that the sun has a fiery temper and a killer wedding dress. But most importantly, I hope you've experienced the power of laughter and the magic of storytelling. Because in a world that often feels divided, these stories remind us of our shared humanity. They connect us to our past, inspire us in the present, and offer hope for the future. So go forth and share these stories. Tell them to your friends, your family, your pets, your plants. Heck, tell them to the next stranger you meet on the street. Because the world needs more laughter, more wisdom, and more stories that remind us that even in the darkest of times, there's always a reason to smile. And hey, if you ever find yourself lost in the African savanna, just remember the lessons you've learned from these myths and legends. Be resourceful like Anansi. Be persistent like the tortoise, and above all else, never underestimate the power of a good story. Because in Africa, as in life, it's often the stories that keep us going. Peace out, my fellow Mythbusters.